Hello there folks, this is Peter the Warner Brothers Universal and Paramount Fan 2002 here. Welcome to my movie reviews, and first episode of the series. I'll be doing review on the 2012 Disney movie, and this one is Wreck-It Ralph. This is like amazing, having a movie related to video and arcade games. The movie was premiered on November 2nd, 2012. The movie airs on Disney Channel, Disney XD, Freeform, and streaming on Disney+, Hulu, Amazon Prime Video, and Apple TV. So, basically, what is the plot of this movie? When Litwick's Family Fun Center and arcade closes at night, the various video game characters leave their normal in-game roles and socialize in a power strip. Wreck-It Ralph, the antagonist of the game Fix-It Felix Jr., is ostracized by its other characters for being the game's villain, while the titular hero Felix is praised and awarded medals. After the game's inhabitants exclude Ralph from their 30th anniversary party, he sets out to earn a medal for himself to gain their respect. Felix worries that Ralph has gone turbo, a term coined when notorious racing game title character Turbo from Turbo Time attempted to take over Road Blasters, resulting in both being unplugged. Ralph learns he can obtain a medal from the first-person shooter, Hero's Duty. After disrupting a game session, Ralph scales the game's central beacon and obtains a medal, only to hatch a Cybug, a dangerous monster. Ralph and the Cybug stumble into an escape pod, which is launched out of the game, and crash land in Sugar Rush, a candy-themed kart racing game. With Ralph missing, his game is labeled as malfunctioning and faces being unplugged. Felix ventures to Hero's Duty and allies with the game's heroine, Sergeant Calhoun, to retrieve Ralph and the Cybug. A little girl, Vanellope von Schweetz, steals Ralph's medal to buy her way into the nightly race that determines which characters are playable the next day, but King Candy, the ruler of Sugar Rush, forbids her from racing because she has glitches that cause her to teleport erratically. Ralph and Vanellope agree to work together to retrieve his medal and help her win the race. They build a cart and hide out at Diet Cola Mountain, an unfinished racetrack, where Ralph teaches her to drive. King Candy hacks the game's code to obtain Ralph's medal, and offers it to Ralph in exchange for preventing Vanellope from racing. He claims that if Vanellope wins and becomes playable, her glitches will lead to Sugar Rush being unplugged, unable to leave the game because of her glitch. Vanellope will be left to die while King Candy and his subjects become homeless in the arcade. Meanwhile, Felix and Calhoun search Sugar Rush for Ralph, and Felix begins to fall in love with Calhoun. Calhoun later discovers a swarm of Cybug eggs underground, which hatch and start devouring the game. Now it's up to Ralph to uncover the truth, and save not only Sugar Rush, but the entire arcade. The story is amazingly well written and greatly paced, is both very funny and heartwarming, can also be pretty action-packed and suspenseful at times, features plenty of well-done nods and homages to both classic and modern video games, and delivers a strong message about being yourself instead of trying to be like someone else. However, the film does suffer from a pretty generic and predictable moment before the last third kicks off. The film has an incredible sense of humor that results in some pretty funny moments like Ralph when he's in Hero's Duty, the banter and quips between the characters, many of the visual gags, and there's a very morbidly funny bit at the end involving Vanellope. The film is also very heartwarming and charming, and leads to such bits and scenes like Ralph's want to be accepted for who he is, the growing friendship between Ralph and Vanellope, the growing relationship between Felix and Calhoun. The action scenes are very intense and suspenseful, like when Ralph is in Hero's Duty despite it mostly being played for laughs, the racing scenes in Sugar Rush, and the climax against the Cybugs and King Candy. The animation is amazingly well done and very colorful as the characters all have great designs and very fluid animation. The backgrounds are amazingly well crafted and detailed, and there are some awesome effects. The characters are all very likable, have solid chemistry, and go through some nice character development. Ralph is a pretty likable and solid protagonist, as even though he's the villain of his game, what he really wants is to be accepted by others and not feared or shunned because of his role. He may act all tough and mean in the game, and there are times where he does get frustrated and loses his temper, but he does have a soft and timid side to him. Vanellope does have her moments where she can get annoying, but for the most part she's pretty decently funny and snarky, and she does have an interesting history. She's also usually pretty friendly while also having her hot-headed moments at times. Felix is a pretty decent character as he's usually all optimistic, helpful, and upbeat, but he does get serious as he knows that if Ralph isn't back to their game in time, everyone in it will be gamless. Calhoun is a pretty cool tough girl character who does act all tough and no nonsense most of the time, but she does have a soft side to her that she starts to let out as the story progresses, and start to grow feelings for Felix. King Candy is a pretty interesting villain as he may appear to be all kind and sweet, but it's all a facade as he's more than willing to get rid of anyone who he thinks wants to usurp him, or stand in his way of maintaining his status quo of the game. There's also a great use of the surprise villain trope from him, not because he suddenly turns bad at the last third, but rather because of his true identity. The minor characters are also a lot of fun, like Sour Bill and his dour attitude that's kinda similar to Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, Mr. Litwick and his kind personality and funny quips, and the cameos from all the various video game characters. The only ones that do get on my nerves a bit are the other Sugar Rush racers because of how they treat Vanellope, but there is a neat twist with them at the end. The voice acting is very spot on and leads to some stellar performances like John C. Reilly as Ralph, Sarah Silverman as Vanellope, Jack McBrayer as Felix, Jane Lynch as Calhoun, and Alan Tudyk as King Candy. The music by Henry Jackman is very well done and really captures the film's themes and tone very well, and there is a pretty decent song heard during the end credits, When Can I See You Again. Speaking about its sequel, this movie has a sequel to the movie, Ralph Breaks the Internet, which was released in 2018. I'll do the review of the movie soon. This movie also had its own video game for the Nintendo DS, and Nintendo 3DS, which had the same title as the movie. Speaking of other games, they managed to appear in other games with other Disney characters. That includes Disney Infinity, 1.0, 2.0, Marvel Super Heroes, and 3.0, Disney Crossy Road, Disney Heroes, Battle Mode, Kingdom Hearts 3, Kingdom Hearts Union Dialysis, Disney Speedstorm, and Disney Sorcerer's Arena. They also have their own books based on the movie, One Sweet Race, Sugar Rush, I'm Gonna Wreck It, The Art of Wreck-It Ralph, and The Art of Ralph Breaks the Internet. Those are books based on the first part of the movie, and its movie sequel, done by the It's Movie writers. They managed to have their own attractions in Disney parks like Disneyland in California, Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Walt Disney World. That includes Ralph Breaks VR. They also managed to appear in Once Upon a Studio, a short film dedicated to Disney's 100th anniversary that features them and other Disney characters we know and love, having Mickey Mouse as the main character, and especially Walt Disney itself. And so, what is my verdict on this Disney animated movie? I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10. Although I didn't saw it in theaters, or bought a DVD or Blu-ray of a movie, I was mostly interested with all the various video game references and cameos, but what I got was an exciting and spectacular movie that definitely had me surprised and kept my interest from beginning to end. This is a must-watch Disney movie, especially for gamers. And will Disney think about making a third part of it? Only the time will tell. And that concludes my first episode of my movie review series. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. I'll see you next time. Have a good day everyone.